evening and welcome to the August 15th meeting of the San Bruno Planning Commission. Roll call, please.
Chair Kayal.
Present.
Vice Chair Chase. Commissioner Biasotti.
Here.
Commissioner Legacy.
Present.
Commissioner Lithin. Commissioner Johnson.
Present.
Commissioner Peterson. Thank you.
Commissioner Biasotti, will you please lead us in the pledge?
Of course.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1, approval of the minutes from our July 18th, 2017 meeting.
Through the chair,
Commissioner Biasotti.
I move that we approve the minutes from July 18th, 2007.
Second. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The minutes are so approved. Second item, communications.
Chair Kayal, tonight we'd like to actually recognize you. Tonight is going to be your last formal meeting as Chair of the Planning Commission and as member of the Planning Commission. And we have sincerely and deeply appreciated your service here in the San Bruno area. Tonight, the staff has put together a certificate of public recognition to present to you. We'd like to do that to you tonight. And let me read that to you. Whereas Marie Kayal, a resident of San Bruno, was appointed and sworn in as a San Bruno Planning Commissioner on October 13th, 2015. And whereas she had served faithfully as a member of the Planning Commission until August 31st, 2017, we're assuming you're going to be here at least unofficially in your role through the end of the month, and has played a vital role in the important work of this organization and community. And whereas the exemplary conduct and sense of fairness she has demonstrated in all activities has furthered the cause of better understanding and has been an influence for good in the growth and progress of our community. Now therefore, I, David Woltering, Director of Community Development for the City of San Bruno, by virtue of the authority vested in me as Director, and speaking on behalf of the entire Planning Commission and staff and all our citizens, do hereby tender to Marie Kayal this certificate of public recognition, extending our deep appreciation for her distinguished service on the San Bruno Planning Commission. We wish her much success in all her future endeavors and are grateful that we had the benefit of her participation on the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I would just like to add, I could not have asked for a more supportive or hardworking community development department. Matt, Michael, David, Madeline, it has been such a pleasure working with you. You've made my job as a commissioner so easy and so smooth, so thank you so much for all your support and hard work. And I would also like to thank my fellow commissioners. It has truly been a pleasure. I have enjoyed my time on the commission so much and really enjoyed working with all of you. And I hope to remain in touch in the future. And thank you so much for the amazing opportunity to work with everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 3, public comment on items not on the agenda. Individuals are allowed 3 minutes and groups 5 minutes. We cannot discuss anything that is not agendized pursuant to the Brown Act, and we will refer any issues not on the agenda for further discussion at a later time. Number 4, announcement of I'm so sorry.
Can I speak?
Yes,
Okay.
Please.
Hello? Hi, Planning Commission, good evening. Russell Steins, Reed Avenue. I come here tonight in hopes you hear me. I'm here for my neighbors, you all being one of. With so many new buildings being proposed here in San Bruno, I am asking you to protect the interest of the current residents. Our quality of life is deteriorating with more traffic, fewer parking spots, and loss of sense of community. I'm asking you not to make the matters worse. San Bruno now has a subcommittee which is reviewing permitted parking. And as I watch some of our neighbors fight like cats and dogs over parking, especially on the avenues, and I don't know if you guys know what's going on up at Susan Drive, but we're having a lot of parking issues going on here, and it's going up the hill as we continue to grow. So I'm going to share the following request with you guys. All new buildings must be parking self-contained. The current formula in the TCP is extremely deficient. Number two, any new building proposed here that's 3 stories or more, I would ask you guys to please put up story poles, no matter where it is, so that people can actually see what it looks like. Many towns have story poles. It's something we don't do here, and it would be really nice if we did do. Number 3, I also ask you to consider the future. You know, I know we're doing these new buildings. We need to get more tax money here. The TCP was passed, Measure N was passed. As malls are closing all across America these days, and I've got an article for you guys to read. I'm going to leave with you. It would seem to me that wouldn't that be a much better place for dense housing instead of backed up to the residential neighborhoods? And the other article I'm going to leave you here is it happened in Burlingame, and it's the commissioners there took a proposed building there, and they sent it back to the building because it was too close to the residents and it wasn't very well considered for the residents. So it's another article about that the building department sent it back and said, no, redraw it, redesign it, redo it. You've got to come up with something way better. Also, as a fact finding, I asked this commission to make sure that any new building in the TCP or any building in San Bruno that impacts the existing residential neighborhoods be put to the highest standards of consciousness to the people that live there. You know, I went to a meeting, and it was for the 24 units that is going to be next to where the old Chinese restaurant was there on El Camino. And, you know, the guy's talking, and it's not even in the TCP, but we've got, you know, there's 10 feet to somebody's backyard, and people are going to be looking down in the backyard. So we've got to come up and start coming up with a way to protect the neighborhoods. And finally, I would ask you guys to set up a meeting with the staff and city council on this TCP and Measure N and revisit this and see if we can come up with some more inventive ideas of how not to impact our neighborhoods so much. I have a couple friends that just moved from Foster City into San Mateo because they couldn't get in and out of Foster City anymore because with the population boom that's going on here, they could not get to their house and back home, and they just got fed up, so they moved out of Foster City. And this is happening all over. I know it's just part of all the community here, but we need to be very conscious about what we do. So I ask you guys for the most consciousness when you approve these buildings. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I'm just going to leave this with you guys. If you guys could please pass it around and
Of course.
pass it to the commissioners that are here. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Yes, have a great night.
Is there anyone else from the public wishing to speak on an item that's not on the agenda? All right. Agenda item number 4, announcement of conflicts of interest. Nope. No. All right. Number 5A, 125 Diamond Street. Staff report, please.
Thank you and good evening. The request before the commission tonight is a request for a use permit to allow construction of a 511 square foot one-story rear addition that when combined with a previous garage addition would cumulatively expand the residence by more than 50%. The site itself is located on the west side of Diamond Street between Herman Street and Buena Vista Avenue. The site is larger than your typical San Bruno residential lot. It's 7,355 square feet in total area, has 75 feet of frontage along Diamond Street, and is currently developed with a one-story single-family dwelling containing 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The existing home measures contains 1,013 square feet of living area and also has a 480 square foot 2-car garage. Single-family dwellings are located on either side of the subject property, and the Caltrain right-of-way is located across the street. Again, the proposed addition is to the rear of the existing single-family dwelling. It would amount to 511 square feet and would contain a master bedroom suite and would also accommodate an expanded kitchen. If approved and constructed, the residence would contain 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and there would be 1,524 square feet of living area with the 480 square foot 2-car garage. The Architecture Review Committee reviewed this project at their July 13th, 2017 meeting. At that Architecture Review Committee meeting, the ARC forwarded the project on to the Planning Commission with a recommendation to approve the project as proposed. Staff would like to point out that as proposed, the project meets every development standard, meaning the floor area ratio guideline, lot coverage guidelines, setbacks, and height requirements. The use permit is only required because the project would cumulatively expand the existing home on the property by more than 50% when combined with the previous garage addition. Staff finds that the proposal is consistent with the residential design guidelines. It blends in well with the existing home. The existing home has a kind of a steep roof pitch, an 812 pitch, and the addition would match that 812 pitch. I'd also like to point out that horizontal siding and wood shingles would be used throughout the home, which is consistent with materials found in the surrounding neighborhood. Staff distributed the required legal notice to all property owners within 300 feet of the site, and we have not received any comments regarding the proposed project. Overall, staff supports the project, and we would recommend that the Planning Commission approve the use permit request, subject to findings 1 through 6 and conditions of approval 1 through 26. This concludes my staff presentation. I'd be happy to answer any clarifying questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Newbammer. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is the applicant here? Please step forward and tell us about your project.
I'm Stephen Leslie. I'm the architect, and there's nothing more I can add. Matt did a good job explaining it, so I guess I can just answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the applicant?
Through the chair.
Commissioner Johnson.
Are all of the conditions of approval and the report, are you in agreement with them?
Yes.
No concerns on your end? No questions for us? Okay.
No.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks.
Any other questions for the applicant?
None.
Seeing none. Anyone from the public wishing to comment on this? No? With that, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, bring it back to the commission for a vote.
Through the chair.
Commissioner Johnson.
I move that staff recommend, move that the Planning Commission approve use permit 17-016 based on the findings of facts 1 through 6 and subject to conditions of approval 1 through 26.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, there is a 10-day appellate period before you can begin work on the project. All right, next item on the agenda, 5B 2210 Rollingwood Drive. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. Michael Smith, Planning Department staff. You have before you the project at 2210 Rollingwood Drive. It's a request for a use permit to construct a 2-story addition at the right side of the building, which would add approximately 1,425 square feet of floor area to the existing building. The project would increase the gross floor area of the existing home by greater than 50%, 93%, exceed the maximum permitted FAR of 0.55 for 0.57, and exceed the maximum permitted lot coverage for the property by 73 square feet. The subject property, 2210 Rollingwood, is located between Fleetwood and Crestwood Drives in the Rollingwood neighborhood. The property is currently developed with a 1-story single-family dwelling that contains 3 bedrooms and 2 baths and 1,110 square feet of living space. The residence includes a 428 square foot 2-car garage for a total gross floor area of 1,538 square feet. The home was constructed in 1954 and is in a single-family neighborhood. The applicant is proposing to construct a 2-story addition on the right side of the existing building, which, if approved and constructed, the residence would become a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom dwelling with a total gross floor area of 2,964 square feet, including living area and the garage. The project includes front facade alterations that would give the building a craftsman style. The addition's exterior materials will consist of stucco plaster with stone cladding at the base of the building and vinyl windows with wood trim around those windows. The building would be topped with a gabled roof. The project would exceed the maximum permitted FAR for the property. The proposed building would have a .57 FAR, where .55 is the max. And that's a total of, at .55, that would be 2,860 square feet. Although the FAR exceeds the maximum permitted, the proposed building does not appear to be out of scale for the neighborhood because the addition is set back substantially from the street. And furthermore, 322 square feet of the addition is attributable to the double height ceiling space, which is in the family room, which is counted twice as per code. The proposed addition also exceeds the maximum permitted lot coverage for the property. The maximum permitted lot coverage for the property is 44%, or 2288. The project proposes a 45.4% lot coverage for a total of 2361, which is exceeding it by 73 square feet. The Architectural Review Committee reviewed this project at its July meeting and forwarded the project to the Planning Commission with the recommendation that all stucco covered foam trim that was around the windows be replaced with painted wood trim. This change has been incorporated into the plans before you. Staff mailed notices to residents within 300 feet of the subject property and has not received any public comment. Staff supports the project, thinks it's well designed, and therefore we are recommending that the Planning Commission approve the use permit request based upon the findings and conditions of approval contained within the staff report. And this concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? No? We'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is the applicant present? Would you like to step forward, please?
Good evening, ladies and the gentlemen of the commission. I'm Michael Gate. I'm the architect for 2210 Rollingwood. And I guess same thing, I just answer any questions that you may have regarding the project, as Mr. Smith had already explained the project.
Through the chair.
Commissioner Johnson.
I don't have questions, but I really want to acknowledge that you've made it very friendly to, very community friendly and very neighbor friendly to be able to see the front facade and the front, all the elevations and the way you've brought the home forward, and not forward necessarily on a blueprint, but forward in the way that it's inviting.
Yes.
And so I thought that your design really showed well. So thank you for that, and lots of details on there.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I second that. Any members of the public wishing to comment? Anything further for the applicant? All right, with that, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, bring it back to the commission.
Thank you.
If there are no further comments, I'm happy to make the Plan Commission approved use permit 17-006 based on findings 1 through 6 and conditions of approval 1 through 26.
I second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. There is a 10-day appellate period before you can begin work on the project. Thank you very much. Congratulations. All right. Our next item on the agenda is city staff discussion.
Chair Kyle, under this item, we've got an initial discussion topic having to do with perhaps you selecting 2 members of the Planning Commission to take a part in the stakeholder interviews for the Bay Hill specific plan process. And the idea there is really the preparers of the specific plan, Diet and Bhatia, the urban planning firm that we're working with, would like to interview a number of commissioners, council members, community members to find out more about goals, aspirations, ideas for how that area could be further developed and redeveloped over, say, the next 20 years. So if you wouldn't mind selecting two of your members to be stakeholders for interviews, that would be great.
Thank you very much. Anyone like to volunteer?
I would defer to the commissioners that have a lot more experience on this, but if there are no volunteers, I'll be happy to join in.
Well, Commissioner Johnson and
Go ahead. No, it would be wonderful if you would like to participate.
all right. We have Commissioner Johnson and Commissioner Lagacé.
Great. Thank you very much. To continue with that item, tomorrow night we're going to have a joint meeting of the City Council and Planning Commission here at the Senior Center starting at 6:30. And the idea for that is that as part of the specific plan, the Bay Hill specific plan planning process, the firm working with the city, Diet and Batia, would like to reach out to the full Planning Commission and City Council members and to give an overview of the planning process to prepare the Bay Hill specific plan and to encourage all of you, commissioners and council members, to again share your thoughts, your ideas, your aspirations, your visions for how this area could be developed and redeveloped over the next 20 years. And to give a little bit of background and, why are we doing this Bay Hill specific plan and the area that's involved. As many of you know and have read, YouTube, that's headquartered here in San Bruno, has come forward and indicated to the community an interest in creating a campus within the Bay Hill Office Park. It's acquired a number of parcels, a total of 8 parcels of land, and now has control of about 900,000 square feet of space within the Bay Hill Office Park. Bay Hill Office Park has about 1.5 million total square feet in that area. As we've worked with YouTube, we've indicated it would be important to do a more comprehensive, broader view planning process to look at how their aspirations, their goals for a campus within the park could be fulfilled, while at the same time taking into consideration what are the interests, the plans of other property owners in the area, as well as what are broader community interests. And therefore, we're proceeding with a specific plan. The specific plan will lay out how the area could be developed in terms of land uses, in terms of intensities. It will look at circulation, utilities, phasing, and infrastructure. It's a long-term plan. With that plan, and we expect that the planning process would be about 15 months, over the next 15 months, there would not only be that overall plan that would be adopted, there would be an environmental review, a full EIR, to assess what the implications, impacts of that plan could be and how they could be addressed, mitigated over time. We're also requiring that there be a fiscal economic study prepared for the plan so that the city understands as this park would develop and redevelop and that YouTube would have a campus facility within the Bay Hill Office Park, what the implications might be in terms of fiscal, financial impacts on the city and economic impacts to other businesses within the area. The overall study area that we're looking at includes the area bounded by San Bruno Avenue West, El Camino Real, Highway 380, and Highway 280. It's approximately 89 acres in area. It does include the Bay Hill Shopping Center. We are not anticipating any changes to the land use at the Bay Hill Shopping Center. We are anticipating looking at the office park and what kinds of uses may be appropriate there, intensities, what kind of circulation for bicyclists, pedestrians, automobiles, motorized transport, buses, etc. We have included, as you've noticed, I'm sure, that within this study area is not just the Bay Hill Shopping Center and Bay Hill Office Park, but also portions of the Transit Corridors Plan area along El Camino Real and San Bruno Avenue West. And the reason for including those areas of the TCP in this Bay Hill study area is that we want to make sure that in terms of transitions from El Camino Real in, from San Bruno Avenue West in, that there are good connections, that the connections make sense in terms of integrating this office park, goals and aspirations of YouTube and other property owners within the office park to the wider community. So we want to make sure that in terms of the study area, we look at El Camino Real, we look at San Bruno Avenue West. So tomorrow, the consultant team, Diet and Batia, will give an overview of the planning process, the schedule. YouTube will provide a presentation of what its goals and aspirations are, and then you, along with council members, will be asked to share what are your visions, what are your thoughts, what do you think should be studied in terms of that specific planning process. So we look forward to that tomorrow night. The next item we have here is, as typical with our agendas, we look for volunteers for our next Architecture Review Committee meeting. So we're looking for 3 volunteers for our next meeting, and the next meeting would actually be in September.
I believe it's
Apologize for that
September
area.
14th.
Pardon me?
If I'm correct, I think it's the September 14th meeting. Is that
I
correct?
believe that's correct. Do we have a date? Okay, September 14th.
Are there any volunteers for Art Review for September 14th?
I will volunteer.
Commissioner Lagacé?
I'm happy to be a backup if that's a possibility.
Okay.
I won't be available either for the Architectural Review or Planning Commission next month.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and volunteer Commissioner Lethine. I know she's anxious to do it, but
Okay,
she is out of
thank
town
you.
right now.
That's good. And then
Don't
we'll
forget Commissioner
check
Chase.
with.
And Commissioner Chase, who is our favorite.
Well, we'll note that you know one of your final actions was to nominate him. Actually, you know, say that he would be there. We'll let him know
he'll
that.
appreciate that.
I'm sure he will.
Volunteer designation.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Item 6B, Planning Commission discussion. Anything from the commissioners?
Through the chair.
Commissioner Biasetti.
I would just like to say it's been a pleasure, and thank you for everything. And I'm going to miss the way you tapped that gavel with just such precision. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Through the chair, I also echo those comments. Commissioner Kyle, you've brought a lot of joy and laughter and extreme knowledge to the commission. It hasn't been a long period of time, but it feels like you've been here with a lot of wisdom, and I thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Johnson.
I will second that too.
Thank you. All right, if there is nothing further, then the commission is adjourned to the next meeting on September 19th at 7 o'clock in the Senior Center. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
The final gift.